Blessed are the merciful, blessed are the lame, blessed are the pure.
Oh, look, when I retired, I made it very clear to the press gallery in Canberra that I'll be green till the last day, the last breath I draw. They don't get that very much because they see so many politicians leave, and that's the end of it.
Lovers walking hand in hand.
Mullumbimby Civic Centre, what a fantastic building, big capacity crowd of Green supporters and people who are interested to come and speak with Bob Brown, and a wonderfully successful afternoon, raising the energy and the enthusiasm to take on what's going to be a very difficult campaign.
No one inspires me more to try and look at the good in people and to ensure that we keep our heart intact while we are in the political coalface, in a sense, trying to make political change. No one has, in my opinion, certainly within the Australian context, ever achieved that with such grace, with such intelligence, with such compassion and such inspiration as, I like to think, the Northern River's favourite son. If an area could adopt you, Bob, we would. And it will grab Paul as well to keep you happy. But it gives me great pleasure, and I really hope that we can all offer up a wonderful applause and to celebrate probably one of the greatest political role models that this country's ever seen, Bob Brown.
But I'm passionately green, and there's such good candidates here. Just in this hall today is Cate Faermann standing for the Senate for the Greens. Well, you know what a good performer she is, and she's a long-term friend of mine. She'll be another really strong voice with integrity in the Senate, where there's a great danger that if Tony Abbott wins, he could control the Senate as well.
It's the only hope we've got. You know, they complain about hung parliaments. It's a really negative term. In actual fact, it allows Greens and individuals to keep the major bullying political parties of whatever persuasion under some degree of control.
It appears through the polls that Tony Abbott will be the Prime Minister after the next election. We may find it, well, that's the reality. That is what those polls are showing. Well, they may not be true, but I've been around long enough also to face a reality when it's coming down the line. And we may see something different in the polls that come out on Monday or Tuesday, now that Kevin Rudd has taken the leadership of Labor Party, and it's up to people how they're going to vote. I got asked about this yesterday on Perth Radio, and she's sorry, Bob, you're not in there, still in amongst all this. And I said, no, I'm really pleased about the candidates who are standing.
Mind you, since that time he's been working on every campaign imaginable, so it's not really a retirement, and his partner Paul complains that whereas he used to have a dozen staff, it's all up to Paul to organise him these days, so it's not without its downfalls, but basically Bob needed to step down. I think he made a really fantastic example to the whole political system. Most politicians just claw onto power way past their use-by date, and they don't step down. And Bob just said, right, that's enough. Got fantastic people to follow through, Christine Milne and others, and she stepped into the breach. And that was, I think, the most seamless, graceful retirement I've seen from Parliament for a long period of time.
I'm also working with Sea Shepherd, so big job there to raise the money to make sure the fleet goes south if the International Court case fails, or if Japan ignores it in the coming season.
He's now become the Australian Director of Operations of Sea Shepherd and doing a fantastic job with that. He's also doing some lobbying with the Australian government in relation to securing a safe harbour for Port Watson.
I love working with Sea Shepherd. I'm also working with other conservation groups, and of course I'm now patron for the Save the Tarkine group in Tassie, the world's, well, Australia's biggest temperate rainforest, about to be mined because of Labor and coalition policies.
It's given Sea Shepherd a fantastic opportunity to have more of a political voice. His expertise in all the work that he's done before with the environment, including the oceans and land-based environmental activism, has really given Sea Shepherd a stronger voice in that area.
It's a great privilege. The people, again, Australians are right behind Sea Shepherd, because they're protecting our warm-blooded mammal cousins in the oceans. We see them off the coast here. If they're being slaughtered in Antarctica, we as a nation should be stopping it. It's illegal, it should stop, and Sea Shepherd's upholding that law.
And isn't it all a little bit hopeless, Australian politics?
If I get a bit dispirited, I go and look at what the suffragettes were putting up with 100 years ago. They won out. You know, the same with the people who fought to abolish slavery. Some of them got tarred and feathered, some got hung. But they were right. And the Greens are saying we've got to have this new ability to live with this planet and its biosphere. We depend upon it. It doesn't depend upon us. And that's an intelligent thing to do. So as those other reforming movements, we're part of it. It does look bleak, the odds are up against it, but it's going to prevail because it's sensible. Yes, it'll take activism. It'll take people stepping off the footpath. It'll take people getting out of the armchair. It'll take people saying, we're in the wealthiest country on earth, we can change things. We're well educated, we're thoughtful, we've got access to all the media, we know what's going on. All we've got to do is be active. People in the Northern Rivers have got these great candidates, and I'm a Bellingen boy from way back, so I feel really at home here, and I feel there's a great spirit of pride of place here, which I love to share in. Writing a few songs, I'm doing quite a lot of writing, but getting around and seeing the world too. Paul and I are going to do the Grey Nomad trip very shortly. I love Australia. There's so many places. For example, Bush Heritage Properties. I was there at the outset for the establishment of that great conservation organisation, which has bought 1 million hectares to protect for Australia's biodiversity, its animals, its wildlife, its rare plants. I want to go and see those places. So that's something to look forward in the years ahead. And spending more time with Paul, at home, a glass of wine on the porch overlooking the sea as we do of an evening as the sun's setting. Well, it's a lovely way to be.